the SQPN Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and joining me today is Steve Nelson. Hi, Steve.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be here.
And once again, Lindsay Sant. Hello, Lindsay.
Hi, Dom. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Folks, you can catch Let's Talk Live on Facebook now, and then it'll be in the Let's Talk podcast feed as audio later today, and then on the SQPN YouTube channel as a video, so you can catch it in several different ways. This is going to be the last Let's Talk Live for a little bit. We're going to take a break. We'll probably reformulate things. We're not going to be able to do this every day on and on. We've been doing this for over a month now, so but we'll figure out a way we can keep it going. I enjoy this. I love having this direct connection and this interaction with you, our community. You're more than just an audience. You're our community and friends, and we think of you that way. So we're so glad to have this connection with you all. And so we'll find a way to keep doing this, maybe not on a daily basis, but weekly or something like that, which is a lot of fun. So that'll be coming out soon. We'll do that soon. But as for this last one for a while, I'm really happy to have Lindsay joining us once again from Australia, which is great to have you with us. I love interacting with you guys, and I have to say, you had a recent episode, Catholics of Oz, came out Easter your time and Holy Saturday our time, and that was a lot of fun. You had a friend join your episode, that one. Can you tell us about your who it was and what it was like?
Sure, yeah. So, we have a good friend, Lino Sabol. Shout out to him because I know he'll listen to this later on. And he's been a friend of ours for, a long time, especially my older sister, Caroline. They were primary school friends. Nice. But we decided to do an episode that was a bit more casual. We wanted to be a bit more relaxed. A lot of people can't get together because of the situation that we're all in. So we thought, what would it be like if we got together like we were sitting around the table at Easter? Yeah. It's always fun and shenanigans and a bit of a laugh. So we decided to have a casual, talked about topics, but nothing formal and a bit of fun. And we just wanted to bring the fun to everyone else as well.
It was a lot of fun to listen to because Alina sounds like a very fun guy with a very infectious laugh. So,
oh yes,
yeah. So definitely, folks, definitely check out the most recent episode of Catholics of Oz, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun to listen to. Steve, you and I recently did a podcast which came out yesterday on the Secrets of the Expanse, season 4.
We did,
we along with Father Michael Gossett, and we had some fun with that as well. That's an interesting show.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've always been a science fiction fan, going way back to the original Star Trek when I was a kid. So, yeah, I was happy to be a part of that. It's a really interesting story.
Yeah. High quality special effects is always good. Good science aspects of it, like it's a hard science sort of thing. No warp drive. There is a bit of wormhole jumping through long distance of space sort of stuff, but it feels more real, I think is the word. But it was a lot of fun to discuss that with you and Father Michael. So definitely, please check that out. Coming up next week, I want to preview for folks. On the next episode of Secrets of Movies and TV Shows, we have Secrets of a Quiet Place, which is a movie, an episode I've wanted to do for a long time, and a movie it took me a long time to watch because. A little confession, I don't like horror movies. And this felt like a horror movie, but actually it was not so much of a horror movie. It was really good, and just as a quick preview, this is a great movie about being a parent, being a mom, being a dad in difficult situations, difficult times. I think some people might be able to relate to that right now. Have you both seen that, Secrets of a Quiet? Have you seen A Quiet Place?
I haven't seen it, but I've been told by a lot of people that I should watch it. So when I get the courage to, I will one day.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the previews of it, so I kind of know some of the gist of the story.
Yeah, the non-spoiler, very brief explanation is at some unspecified near future date, some kind of creatures are loose in the world which are completely blind. They have no ability to see at all, no eye visual organs, but they have super strong hearing. So the slightest sound will cause them to come, and they're extremely violent and unstoppable. And so it's the story of this family: a father, a mother, a daughter, and 2 children who are trying to survive in this world, with the caveats that the daughter is deaf, which is interesting, plays into the story very interestingly. And the mother is pregnant. How do you bring a baby into a world where you can't have any noise? So that becomes a big part of the story. But it's a really great story about fatherhood, motherhood, sacrifice. For your children in love. John Krasinski, who co-wrote it, directed it, and acts in it, does an amazing job. So, and his wife, his real life wife, Emily Blunt, plays his wife in the movie. So, it's a very interesting movie. So, definitely check it out, and then check out Secrets of a Quiet Place next week. And the other thing, go ahead, Lindsay.
I was going to say, can I thank you for describing a scary movie when it's 12:30 at night here, and now I'm going to have to look over my shoulder.
I do the same thing. Maybe this isn't the best time to hear about that, but you're fine. I can see behind you. There's nothing behind you. So,
good so far.
So the other thing that's next week is we're on Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World. We're going to have first of a 2-part special on the Waco siege of 1994. I'm off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I think it was 1994, where the David Koresh and his group, which some people call a cult, try not to be pejorative or prejudging. And so Jimmy delves into what happened, what was the roots of it, what did the people at Waco believe, and what really happened, and who was responsible. And it's such a big story. We do it in 2 parts. So next Friday is the first part, and I don't want to spoil anything, but you may be surprised by what we come out of this. And Jimmy does a great job of being objective and not biased, as he goes through the evidence and all. But you may come out with some interesting conclusions about what happened and who's at fault and that sort of thing. So definitely keep an eye out for that one too. So those are some upcoming things. So guys, how is your Easter week going? I should ask you that, because I've been asking everybody this week. It's the biggest week of the year for for Christians, and it's the most unusual Easter ever. So Steve, how's the Easter week been for you?
Well, it's been going well. Easter Sunday was tough. Because I generally go to Easter Vigil masses, and my parish, broadcasts theirs, but it was really painful to watch when there's no one there. The whole, bringing in the light into the church and everything. It was just painful, and I could see the pain on our clergy's face.
Yep.
Because they wanted it to be so much more than what they could do. But since then, they've been doing a really good job of broadcasting morning prayer every day, which has become part of my routine.
Nice.
And then, rosary and mass every day. And so they've been very joyful about that. I think maybe they realized that they came across a little painful during the Easter vigil. So they've been making an extra effort to be joyful about it. And really been emphasizing the Divine Mercy Sunday coming up. In fact, they have produced some signs that say Jesus.
Sorry, folks. We had some technical issues on our side, but okay, I think we're live again. Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties. Something is going weird with my recording software. But thanks, Steve. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think a lot of us have been experienced like what you've been talking about. Is that how weird it is. And how weird like Easter was. One of the things that struck me during the Easter Vigil was that part of the prayer says, "Let this place be filled with resounding joy," and there's nobody there to fill it, And it was sad, but I'm glad we have the ability to at least to be able to experience it and to watch, and that's been great. How about you, Lindsay? How's your Easter week going?
So Easter, it was like Steve was saying, and what you're saying, it's interesting that we were watching churches that were empty from home, but we had Easter Vigil on Saturday night at home, watching our parish priest stream it live, which was really good. He's been fantastic in helping to keep us connected to our parish through what he's done with live streaming. So we got our baptism candles. I think I stole that from Raising the Bets. I heard you would do it with your family. So yeah, we got ours out and did the same thing.
Nice.
And then then I asked the Amazon Echo to flood the house with light once once it was time during the vigil.
Great idea.
My 2-year-old thought it was someone's birthday. He kept trying to blow the candles out, but that's okay. But it was positive. And one other positive that came out was that on Easter Sunday morning, Channel 7, which is one of the main channels here in Australia, one of the commercial channels, they had organised to broadcast Easter Mass from St. Mary's Cathedral in Sydney, which has never been done before. It's an unprecedented thing. And according to the Catholic Weekly, over 1 million people were viewing on TV, online, and streaming. So it was a massive event to be able to watch that, and it was an amazing mass too. So it was good to see that.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that happened in Boston. One of the local broadcast channels aired from the Cathedral of the Holy Cross locally, which they never do. They have daily mass, Sunday mass on very early in the morning, usually on one of the little channels that are available. But this one was from the Cardinals Mass from the cathedral, and it had big viewership. So that's good to hear. That's great. And like you said, yours was a national broadcast, which is fantastic. Awesome.
Yes. So there are still signs of hope, which is good, even though we're all at home. There was still, maybe instead of filling the churches with people, we were filling the country with people who were full of hope. So it was I thought it was quite amazing.
I've said it before. I would love it if the church could find a way to keep doing something like these live streams in a way to reach out to people who wouldn't go into a church on Sunday and are interested in maybe hearing something or seeing something. It's that threshold encounter that it can invite people further in.
Our priests have commented that they expect a return of people when this is over, because it seems that people are starting to focus on more foundational things, and they're actually expecting an upturn in interest in the church when this is when they reopen.
That would be nice. Yeah, because this isn't just going to turn off. We're only going to be able to gradually return to something called normal at some point, and it will be interesting to see what that looks like, and because I think we're all not just going to go, oh, that's over, and I'm going to go back to the way I was. I think that's going to be a much more gradual thing, and I think people are still going to be in the mindset to go off of that. So that's good. So let's move on to our next part. Never mind our technical difficulties. We still got things to do. And so the next part is I want to do my T-shirt of the day. And today I'm going to stand up. You can probably see a little hint of it, but I'm going to stand up and let you see the whole thing. And this is a throwback to the 90s. This is my it's a I Want to Believe shirt based on the poster from the X-Files TV show, but I want to believe. I always like to wear it when I'm recording Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World, because we often talk about UFOs and
so appropriate. Yeah.
Yes, it's a Friday. The truth is out there. And it just as a reminder, because we got a question from Mike Kuipers in the chat room. Hi, Mike. This is the last Let's Talk Live for a bit. We're taking a break, but we'll be bringing it back at some point, depending on availability of folks and when we can do the timing. But we're going to take a little bit of break to catch up on some other things, but we'll be back because we're having so much fun and we love this live interaction with the community. Yeah. So let's move on to our recommendations. We love to give you guys recommendations of things that we're enjoying. And so Lindsay, let's start with you. What's your recommendation for folks to check out?
Yeah, sure. So when I was thinking about what to share today, I was thinking about how fortunate, as we've just been talking about, but how fortunate we are to have great priests who have dared to reach out to more people through technology recently. So my pick is the ministry of Father Rob Galea, who is a priest here in Australia. He's originally from Malta, but not the Malta where our friend Father Corey comes from, but the small island country in the Mediterranean.
The actual Malta.
The real deal, yeah. And he's been a priest since 2010, and he came from Malta to serve here. He's kind of on loan at the moment, and I think he will be for a long time. But he serves in the Diocese of Sandhurst, which is one of the 4 dioceses here in Victoria. So he's an assistant parish priest, but he also has an amazing evangelization ministry. So part of his ministry is his music and also his traveling and speaking tours, which he does every year. Since he started, he's easily presented to millions and millions of people. We were really fortunate to be able to interview him on the Catholics of Oz last year, and this was just after he'd sung for Pope Francis and a million pilgrims at World Youth Day in Panama. So that was great. But what's really interesting that I'd like to share for our audience today is that he has an online ministry, which I think is the perfect accompaniment for the times that we're in at the moment. His work is educational, but it's also very uplifting, and it's also very practical. And he shows people how to live an everyday Christian life. So if you need a spiritual boost, he can be found at his YouTube channel just by searching for Father Rob Galea. His music varies from all kinds of styles, but it's very relevant to this Sunday. He has a recorded singing of the Divine Mercy Chaplet, so it's a great thing to be listening to right now.
Nice.
And I dare to say that it's probably the best version of the Divine Mercy Chaplet I've heard to music. It's absolutely amazing. So
Nice.
Very spiritually uplifting. All of his music, we love to play it here at home. We have it beaming through our TV, through the Apple TV, just playing on YouTube.
Nice.
I think it's been really good for our oldest son, Damien. I think he's picked up a lot of the songs and the words and things. So parents, it's really good for your children too, just to have him playing in your house. His YouTube channel has lots of teachings too. They're all short 1 to 10 minute things on a whole variety of topics. And again, very down to earth and very practical. The last thing I wanted to mention, also, he's also got a podcast called Catholic Influences, which has more expanded teachings. And you should put that on your playlist, but somewhere after your SQPN podcasts, of course. The last thing very quickly is that he's got a book called Breakthrough from Desperation to Hope. And it's basically a story about his life. He was a person who was broken, who made too many bad decisions in his early teenage life. And then he became a Catholic priest. So it connects the dots from how he went from one to the other. But it's not just about his life. I think it's a book about our lives as well, about how we can rely on God to help us navigate out of the desperate situations that in our life, how we can find hope, and like him, how we can share that hope with others as well. Interestingly, the book is the basis for a Hollywood movie about his life, which apparently is in pre-production right now and has a budget of tens of millions, so I've read. So his ministry is very active, it's very accessible, and if you need a little hope right now, I can't recommend it enough.
Cool. That sounds awesome. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel and to the book in the show notes on SQPN. That sounds awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Steve, do you have a recommendation for folks to check out?
I do. This is particularly for young adults and college students. I'm a big fan of the chaplain, Father Kerry Wakulich, at the St. John Catholic Student Center at Oklahoma State University. He's probably one of the best priests I've ever seen for that particular ministry. And every day on Facebook, if you search St. John Catholic Student Center, he does like a 1 or 2 minute little evangelization thing. And it's all about how to build saints. And it's geared toward that age group. And it's just great. I look forward to it every day. I mean, I'm a long way past being a college student, but I love what he does. And it's so hopeful, and it's so bright and cheerful and positive. And it's just great.
Cool. Awesome. That's great. I love these little things, like minute or two a day things that you can get. We don't always have a lot of time. And so that's really nice. That's cool. All right, so those are a couple of great recommendations. Nice way to round off our Easter week and heading into Divine Mercy Sunday. So that's really nice. So as we wrap up, I want to take a moment, and it's very important for me, especially as we're doing this last one for a little bit, to thank our patrons. Our patrons are so important to us. Their generous donations have made it possible for us to continue offer Let's Talk, but in all the shows we do at StarQuest. And I want to point out, in these difficult times, our patrons have kept going as much as they can. I know some people have had, job difficulties and whatever, and they've had to step aside for a bit, and I understand that completely. But that we've had almost all our patrons stay with us, and we really appreciate that. We've got some news coming up soon about how we need to keep advancing forward to keep going. We're going to need more help in the future to just keep things going, keep the lights on. But right now, I do want to thank our patrons, and we're so grateful for the support of the SQPN community. If you'd like to join them, you can do so by going to sqpn.com/give. We'd love to hear from our audience, from our community. I keep saying audience, but really it's our community, our friends. And you can contact us by going to sqpn.com or the SQPN Facebook page, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. Or send an email to letstalk@sqpn.com. Lindsay Sant, thank you once again for getting up in the middle of the night or staying up until the middle of the night to join us on Let's Talk.
No worries, Dom. Thanks for having me again.
And Steve Nelson, thank you as well.
My pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk on StarQuest.